was off. Yeah, yours is already on.
Unless you don't. I tend to switch mine on and off when I'm sitting up there. It's up to you. Then if I'm whispering, nobody hears me.
I love it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. on Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. So I guess we need to do our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've always said that a million times in our lives since we were 5.
Okay, I guess we'll do a roll call next. Just say...
You can either ask each person or you can just declare who's not here.
Okay.
Richard Francois.
The only member of the Planning Commission who's not here is Richard Francois.
And just so you all know, that's because he had a family emergency.
Okay. Okay, does anyone have any changes to the agenda tonight?
Scroll up the... Did you add those few things? I did.
Anyone?
Let me... I look.
I keep hearing myself.
Okay, there you go.
No.
No?
Oh.
Sorry, I thought it was pretty good for you.
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to,
Next time.
I wanted to make sure that we discussed tonight the accessory dwelling. Oh, it's on there. So, never mind.
Yep, it is.
So sorry.
Okay.
No.
All right, if not, I will entertain a motion.
Well, no one has officially asked me.
I'll move to accept the agenda as presented.
Okay, so Beverly Scherer moved to accept the agenda as presented, and Dave Marcelletti seconded that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay? Opposed say nay. Okay. All right, so next we want to, a motion passes. Next we want to... Next is the approval of previous minutes. Does anyone have any change for the previous minutes? Which I didn't see. I don't.
Oh. No, it's not. It's, I'm having a little trouble.
Do you want to share these?
Yes.
Did you have a change on those?
Where you are.
Yep, it's right here.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
Operator error.
That's okay, we're going to get there. If you have another proof of this, we'll do some training.
I have no changes.
Okay.
I don't think so. Okay.
There was something that needed to be added on here under old business. New business? Old business. Didn't we need to add under old business that we were working on 4.02?
It's on there. She put minimum dwelling requirements and...
No, on the minutes.
Oh, on the minutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it's blank under old business. And that was something that I put in the comments in iCompass. That I guess we could just say that we continued work on the proofreading and editing of 4.02?
Which was the...
I have it in email, but...
Okay.
And I didn't bring my notes from last meeting. Kara, do you have that there? Do you have iCompass in front of you? I made a note of what it was. Or dot. Yeah,
Commercial activity accessory.
it's at the very bottom of comments, the, under old business should be added.
Oh, no, she didn't put it in there, because I did all of those. I should have done all of those.
No, it should be in my comments in iCompass.
Yeah, I put all those in. Did I miss one?
I went in comments again, last night, and I sent an email to let you know.
I'll put that one in.
Yesterday.
Was it 4.8?
4.08, maybe.
Okay, can we just say that then we continued work on 4.08? Because
Where does that belong?
under old business.
Oh.
That's it, we have nothing under old business as if we weren't working on anything.
That reminds me to show you how to do, the amendment, because we can't do it in there.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve the minutes with the addition under old business of continued work on 4.08.
I'll support. Okay. Beverly Shearer moved, and Anita Manley seconded to approve the minutes with the note for the continuation of work on 4.08. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right, motion carried. So now we move to public comments. Is there anyone who has any public comments? Okay, since there's nobody here. Can they enter public comments online or anything, since we're back in session?
We do not have that
Okay.
available right now.
Okay.
I will state, just for your knowledge, that the only reason why we would make those available is if somebody were to issue an ADA request.
Okay.
So, and then we would make those available, and I would let you know ahead of time.
Okay, great. Okay, I need to go back. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I
No, go ahead.
feel like a dummy here, but I've never touched an iPad in my life. I don't do Apple. So how do I get it to reopen to where I was?
Well, that's where we're going next, right?
Okay, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so we don't have any public hearings, so we'll move on to new business. And that is the iPad training, and I believe
Oh,
Christie.
yay.
Let me open the boxes real quick.
So just while she's getting things opened up, just so you guys know, tonight you don't get to take it with you. In the future, you will, hopefully. We're waiting for the cases. I don't want anybody taking some of the cases to protect them. And everybody will, I don't know if she probably did she have you log in, or did she log in for you?
I didn't do any of that yet.
Okay.
Okay, so this is your temporary password.
Thank you.
So if you go to settings,
How do you find settings on here?
so swipe up, that closes
Up
up.
from the very
This is
bottom.
your settings,
Okay.
There you go.
click a little gear,
Okay.
Here, press the bottom.
bottom right.
There you go. Yep.
I was looking at the
All right,
bottom.
everybody's there.
And then up
Sign into your
top,
iPad?
yep, sign into your iPad on the left.
Apple ID?
Yeah, so your Apple ID is on that paper.
Trustee 2?
Okay, so these have to be,
So your,
Oh, you want the
yep,
ID.
that one, yep.
Yeah, the ID is this.
is this one, okay.
Oh, you have to type, Columbia.
Oh, jeez.
And then do I just hit return? Is that how you do it on this?
That's on the thing. On the
Oh,
top.
done, okay, yeah. I'm an Androider.
Yeah, you too.
You guys work today. You know you're gonna earn your money today, did you?
Okay, now,
Okay, and then
enter, just
My
like,
verification failed.
oh, next, okay. Okay, and
Hopefully
password.
isn't it like,
Oh, backspace, where's my backspace?
And
somebody have to send it.
7AGC.
Oops, that's the problem right there.
Okay.
It went back and I tried to.
I know, I wish it would show you. Okay, now the next.
Phone number?
Yep,
You have to put your cell phone number.
yeah. So in case you like lose
okay.
your.
Nope, it said it failed again.
Speaking of that, in case we lose them, are these, marked somehow, serial number for each
Yes.
one?
Definitely have them checked out to specific people, and there are serial numbers on them.
Okay.
That looks right, okay.
But don't worry, we're gonna make sure that you guys know.
And when you issue them, you'll have a sheet where we can sign that, and that it's that serial number and all that? Okay. Not to be suspicious, but you know, things happen.
Yeah, these are all synced, so we can,
So we can track you.
yeah.
Wow.
And we can like,
So don't take it somewhere you don't want us to track you.
You mean you don't have to call Mark Zuckerberg anymore to see where I'm at? Or wait.
Not if you take that with you.
That's right, I don't do Facebook, so you have to call Google, I
Watch your
guess.
browser history.
Yeah. I don't even care about that stuff, except I don't use Facebook, because I want him to pay me for my data. It's my data, don't steal it.
Put my phone number in, right?
Now, send.
Okay, so mine's
Oh.
not fair.
Oh, yeah, you put that.
Right?
Not all of them, so those
Just the ones
Text
that
message.
are the ones
are.
that are, yeah.
is that my browser?
Good, I'm glad I didn't go in airplane mode yet.
Actually, it's because
This was there, put that right there.
Oh, that's the one, yeah.
Oh,
This is fun. Okay,
I didn't want to
let's
do it
see.
for you guys because I wasn't sure when we were.
Well, yeah, we wanted to make sure that you guys put in your own passwords and.
it's probably,
I'm like, I hope I don't like this a lot, because I really don't want to spring for an iPad of my own. But then I'm gonna like it.
Okay, apparently I have trouble with this current.
Oh, yeah.
This one.
Okay. You must update your password before signing into, so,
So put in the current one, which is that one right down there.
Temporary?
Yep.
okay.
This is all done.
I'm in.
Ooh, that's hot. I keep turning everybody down. Must be the township board is quieter than everybody else. Oh, I'm turning the wrong thing down. That helps if I turn the wrong thing down.
So here you text into your cell phone number and it will send you a text.
Oh, now do I put a new password in here?
Yes, your
Oh, okay.
password.
Oh, gosh, another password. Oh, Lord help me.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so that's pretty much all we need to do tonight. Well, no, we need to do the icon.
Talk about iCompass, so we'll wait till everybody's all logged in. In your agendas for today, there are these instructions. So you guys will see those in there. And we're gonna go over them a little bit,
here in this one.
but it'll tell you, you guys can study them later, how to use the little agenda app.
Okay.
And the app's already installed.
So then after we get to this, how do we
You
get
can
out of
swipe up.
this? Oh, I swipe up again? Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, nice. And then I should go back to,
Okay, your new password.
Where do we have that app on
My
there?
new
Oh,
password.
it's on the next page.
So
Okay.
this agenda note,
Mhm.
so if you want to move anything, you hold down
Yep.
at home screen, and then you
Was
can
this
move.
considered my new password?
Oh, no,
No,
you
you
can
put
make
one
it
in.
up.
Oh.
Put your own
So
in.
you can move it wherever you want.
Okay.
So that's the
But
app.
this is the app.
Do you need our passwords?
No. I sure
So I
don't.
just need to sign
But if you screw up, I can still wipe it from a
You
distance.
access that, right?
You can still what?
I can still clean it off from a
You have to
distance.
type in.
I don't have to have your password. I
Does it
can
have to be,
wipe it clean.
does it have to be a capital or
No.
not?
You have the ultimate control.
Okay, so Anita, you type in Columbia TWP on the top box.
No. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry.
To the web?
Yep.
Okay, so,
Dot after.
All right, now from the bottom, swipe up.
And then dot civic.
and then you're gonna click on that little.
Civic Web.
Civic Web one.
This one?
Mhm.
Hold on, yep,
Change.
and then she was just talking about that, this is Columbia dot,
Am I gonna?
ColumbiaTWP.civicweb.net.
All lower?
yes.
Do we need to do that every time?
I think it will remember you.
Yeah,
Columbia.twp, Columbia
Enter my
TWP.
username, which is
dot Civic
the one
Web,
I've got, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Dot
And
com.
then it is
.com, right?
.net.
Oh, .net, sorry, it's not .com. And
Okay,
then that username and password is the one
And-
you've been using to get into iCompass.
Did I have to put?
Great.
Did I have to put an exclamation here?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
so the username has been my email, right?
No, she has your username, hold on.
Good.
What's Deb's username? Trustee two.
Mhm.
Doing it?
Oh, try it. If you don't know your password, we'll just do.
I don't have a password.
Okay.
Okay, and password, I can only take a stab at it. I think I did
Yeah.
my
try
grandson
it.
something.
My township email?
And
I got it. I mean, I got it into it when I was online.
What email am I
Q-B-O-Y.
entering here?
You try it.
So I need to reset it again.
Yeah, that's
Would
weird.
Annette, would Anita, could you
Oh,
pronounce it?
Hang
I
on.
need it.
Would she have a
Incorrect
username?
password.
It should be on there.
Yeah. So then for her reset password,
Her email is the one that's listed here.
this one.
Yep.
Do you have my password written down over there?
No, we don't have your password.
Ah,
Do you have access to
It
it?
It's
might
without
be,
me, always on.
it might
Betty
be,
Ted Boy?
For now.
it might be April 2020.
Okay.
So for
Are you sure?
now,
It forwards to my
Oh, so you
current,
changed
to
it.
my new email. I didn't know that you guys didn't have
Because
it.
I set them all initially.
Yeah, and then you sat with me while I changed it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I did my grandson.
Right there what you want them to be, and I will
but
change
if
them right
not, we'll
now.
have to make you.
Mine, I got in.
Oh, you got it,
Let
okay.
me try one more time. I think I did all lowercase. I shouldn't do this, but I used a lot of the same passwords, so I can
Should I
remember.
retype it?
Oh,
No,
Okay, I can reset it, just write down what you need.
okay.
You don't have an agenda on there, which means,
It might be because we just did that thing.
no, because it should be on there. It might be because she's not in the right group.
Oh.
I might
Oh,
not have her in the right
let me try one more time. Will it lock me out if I do it 3 times wrong?
No.
Okay. Let me try.
Either way, I have to go back and fix it anyway.
True. I just hate to cause so much
No,
trouble.
you're fine. That's why we put it on the agenda, so we have time to go over it.
And I think, we'll need to make her.
Where's the,
I can, you might, I need to change your email address in there. I forgot about that, I'm sorry.
So you might.
Do you want me to do that now?
It didn't work?
Yeah, because this isn't, this is no longer.
oh, that was it.
Write it down quick.
That was it.
Oh.
What I was gonna change it to.
Where do you want me to write it?
My grandson, this is good. I've been using that password.
You got it? Okay, so you're good.
Okay.
And he's like
You don't
You want
have
the
to.
top one?
25 now, gonna be 25 in May. I've been using that
So
password
big
15
and
years.
then.
Okay, I'm gonna go finish you two.
Okay.
You write down what you typed in, so I can remember.
Okay,
You got
so
it,
now,
4 letters.
upcoming agendas,
Oh.
that's
Yeah.
tonight.
Big.
Past agendas.
You just put something in there.
Nice, sweet. Oh, we're gonna be able to access our ordinances and everything on here, aren't we? Ooh, that's gonna be nice. Do you wish to download this agenda? Cancel, because it's already,
To see it, you have to download it.
oh, it okay?
Yep.
Oh, because I'm logged in.
Yes.
So why am I looking at the agenda in iCompass anyway?
Wasn't it on the iPad?
It was
Was
already
that
on the
on?
iPad, yeah.
Well, this is so, probably when we do an iCompass, we can make change, we can do alterations, make changes.
Oh, I had
Right.
one of them?
You're then controlling the agenda. When it was on there before, she was controlling the agenda, and now you're controlling it yourself. You can scroll through the packet yourself.
Yeah, I just had it
Okay.
pulled up through Columbia's website, like you weren't signed in or anything.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so now you can, you know,
okay. Yeah, 'cause that's why I would bring my laptop and had it there so that I didn't have to follow along with what was going on
and
there.
now you can
'Cause I
do
couldn't
that
see it
yourself.
anyway.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Now let's open. Pretty nice.
Good, okay, so those are
Yep,
half
there we go.
mine.
I'm in.
Those are lowercase.
So now you use my current email address?
Yeah, but that is still
So
your
this
login.
is your username?
You're good,
Mhm.
you're good.
I said to download it. Will it show up?
Well, we don't have your password, you have to do forgot password.
There you go.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, do I need to reset your password?
Cool.
Thank you, ARPA.
My new email.
What?
ARPA money.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, ARPA. Love it, love it.
Okay,
Send us more.
I wasn't sure if we were gonna want
and you had those
pencils
on.
for these.
I think we
I
will.
think we are,
Yeah.
because
Okay, so you don't
I
have.
found out you guys can actually take notes
So
right in the app,
this,
Oh, Jen.
on top of that.
yep,
Yeah, that's what I wanna do, yeah.
Because we were looking to see if
We
we
want
needed another,
pens.
yeah, we were looking to see if we needed another app, but we don't.
you don't know your
Oh,
password for this?
We
good.
do it right in there.
For this agenda.
Those are
Nice. Yeah, we want pens.
Okay, so there's annotation tools
Are
somewhere
they
in there,
expensive?
like $100 a piece.
Oh, that's not bad.
No. So, annotate agenda.
Oh my
How do we get there?
Is this for us, or is this for all of us, or is that just yours?
Yeah, you have it in there.
And you have access to it right now?
No, up the links underneath iPad training on your agenda.
Oh,
Agenda note.
Yep. So that's all
Oh.
the instructions right in there.
Oh, cool.
oh, okay, nice.
Sign in. Finger up and down.
But we will need the special pen, correct?
Oh, you can do
Okay,
it without
you're
the
gonna
pen.
send it to
It's just not gonna be as neat.
Oh, it'd be your
Yeah.
finger, yeah, that doesn't work very well in the store. It's like, why do you bother asking me to sign it, I might as well just put a big X.
Sue, you can set up your email, I can help you.
Yeah.
Another point, but,
We can do that one. Why don't we do email next month?
okay.
We'll have them set up their email accounts on there. Just the ones that you guys are using for planning commission, would be my recommendation. Dave, is the one that we have for you, is that specifically for planning commission stuff?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Anita also knows that, right?
I don't have I don't have a township email address.
Correct, but are you, the one that we're using there, is that one you use for everything, or just for this? Okay. My suggestion is to make another, I know, this is so much fun, have another email address. Make another Gmail account that's specifically for planning commission stuff.
And that's to protect your personal email.
From Freedom of
Freedom of Information Act request, yeah. So once you're in there, the attachment displays, annotation options display on the far right. Oh, yeah,
Right here.
they're right there.
Alright.
Mhm.
What?
The annotation options are on the right-hand side of the screen there.
Oh,
Okay.
like this, right? Or draw with your finger
Yeah.
in red. Yeah. It didn't work. Okay, let's try it again. Red.
What did you select? Let's see.
Write or draw with your finger, color.
Oh, for crying out loud, the camera's on.
Oh, I have to hit the pencil
Pencil,
first.
yeah.
Hold on.
Pencil.
Can I clear it? How do you clear it? Erase.
Undo, whatever, yeah.
Hopefully I'm not gonna bring over.
You do? Undo.
You haven't done anything yet, it doesn't
Yeah.
look like.
Where's the camera? Is
Just
it?
cancel.
Use the pencil tool, tap the pencil tool icon right directly on the screen.
And we can put it in your phone.
Above you.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Oh, look at this.
I know, isn't that nice? That's great.
Yeah, so we can do it all if we're,
You will, so once you get into.
Can I undo this?
You're not in the app, are you?
please.
I don't know.
Yes.
Go here.
This is actually fun.
I gotta finish logging in.
Oh, look at this one, right here, it's a highlighter. You just,
Oh, I love that. I really like that.
Go, I don't think you have enough
Yeah,
to log in.
But this is the one that I just changed it to, correct?
Yeah.
So,
how do you erase that one then?
That one I know.
How did you get it? You just hit on the yellow?
Delete,
Oh, and your group is not set up
delete the
either.
highlighting.
So you hit pencil?
So, no, the next one down is the highlighter.
Oh,
Okay.
highlighter, okay, that's very nice, the highlighter, I like that tool.
Made a note. Oh,
Yeah.
So as soon as I find out Dave's got, I'll go get you guys set up in your group.
Delete.
So, how much are these? Because my husband wants something. I
Well,
think I'm gonna get him a Chromebook, but
I did get the top of the line ones because I wanted them to last.
I think they start at like 700.
no, he ain't getting it.
Chromebooks are really little.
That's why I was saying I didn't wanna fall in love with it, 'cause they're so pricey, but however, my sister found, her and her husband both got them on, Amazon, they found them for $400.
You can get older, like, models for cheaper.
I brought a Chromebook home, I'm just gonna play around with it.
So when you see like an agenda,
We had a
you want
Chromebook
to
at work
click
and I
it,
didn't like it. I
and
could
you'll
never
have to download it.
Oh, you
And once it's
He's
downloaded,
using his
it will
phone
turn
now.
white.
Oh, yeah, anything for the
See, like,
movement,
these are
right?
gray. So these aren't downloaded.
I think I'm gonna see if I can find him a touch screen.
And then that comes up, and then how they were doing the annotation, you swipe over.
We just clicked on the things that agenda notes iPad,
Okay.
yeah.
And so these are your.
Oh, so I wanna get out of this
Just hit
screen.
back, up at the top, left.
So this is how you annotate.
But then how do I do that within the agenda, when I've got the
I
agenda,
think you swipe.
and then I want to do that?
Yeah, how do we do, oh, I don't know, let's see. Okay, and then
Well, I got
do we
this
go
one,
like
I do that one.
annotation?
So right here, you can just click that.
So, how do we do that? Oh,
Karen, we found out how to highlight, but not how to highlight on our agenda.
Alright. Fresh that.
He got those little squigglies up.
There you go, now you can click on the
Annotations, here we go. Oh, but
right
it's
here.
not,
okay, but then,
There you go.
how do I
Whoa.
see it on my,
Now, once you click on one of these.
On the actual agenda.
Yeah.
yeah, if we could just have that little, sidebar, the little bar, if we could just have that, because we can't do both at
Maybe
one
you-
time. Maybe we need a workshop for this.
Yeah, me too.
So what are we looking for?
Annotate the agenda, okay.
Oh, the agenda, let's see.
hyperlink at the right top of the agenda, okay.
Let's see, look, I've got
What's my hyperlink? At the right top.
annotations.
So the right top.
Yeah.
Let's try
Oh, right
that.
there. At the top,
okay.
that little gray box.
This one,
Click it.
Oh,
you might,
And
there you go. Now you have the annotation tool.
it's right, I guess.
Weird.
okay.
And then,
So
yeah.
how do I get rid of this?
Like,
Oh, swipe it sideways, I love that.
that you should be able to just.
Okay, so now I'm gonna highlight something.
Okay.
Oh, and now we can write on it?
Yeah.
Oh. Serious.
No, that didn't work. Oh,
Now, when you guys get the
Scratched
cases,
it out.
will actually prop it up for you a little bit too, so you can arrange how it fits and.
To change the brightness and everything, you swap down, or swipe down from the bottom right, or
Top
top
right.
right. You can change brightness and volume.
okay. Do they
Turn
have
your Bluetooth.
books that come with these?
Yeah, and they're there.
Yeah, but they probably don't tell you what
No.
you're thinking. We'll just keep, this is what we should do. We'll do a 15-minute segment at the beginning of each meeting on whatever you guys need to know. So you just tell us what's the first thing you want us to do a 15-minute segment on, and that's what we'll do.
Okay, and in the meantime though, could I have the book and read it?
Oh, yeah, but that book isn't gonna do you any
You
good.
be better
I'm
off
just telling
It
you.
helped me with my phone.
You
Really?
be better off Googling it.
Yeah, you'd
Oh.
be better off Googling.
Yeah.
The books that come with the devices don't say much anything.
That's terrible.
Nothing
For
is
what you
My mom
pay.
is all bent out of shape because something she has, she doesn't have a book for it. I didn't get a book with it. No, Mom, no book.
No.
Call IT. My niece is our IT department.
Okay, so,
This is on my book, it's a good one.
yes, I can help you.
I did it already.
Oh.
I emailed you.
Yeah, well, there's a rolling one. Yeah, that's that one. Oh, the other one that I said I was.
Got a little bit, but not a
I
lot.
don't know what you'll do.
So, are we doing anything else for the iPad training, or?
Unless,
No.
are you guys good?
I mean, we can get in and look at the agenda for today. So, none of the stuff that we're gonna talk about in the, oh my gosh, I have no words, in the ordinance and stuff like that, that's not on here yet. It is? Okay. Oh, I just touched it, that it says that.
The only one is that I had told you I was gonna try to pull together some samples for you for the one, and I didn't get a chance to.
Of other,
Minimums were.
yeah, Tasha sent those in an
Not that
email.
one, the minimum dwelling, one of them, I don't know.
Yeah.
Accessory
Nope,
dwelling
it's here. Yes, we got it. Tasha sent it
Oh, okay,
today.
you got both, okay.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I don't have it because you printed it. We don't have it in here.
Right.
I'll play with it.
I did print it
I'll look
out.
over your
Okay.
shoulder if you don't
Over my
mind.
shoulder.
Well, if it's all in one email, all in one document,
Yeah.
it's on there then. It's just underneath when I.
Okay.
Yeah, I emailed it.
I
This
thought it was
afternoon.
one of the two things, I didn't realize it
Oh,
was
I put
both.
them two together.
Yes.
Sorry, I did the two together.
It's in there.
It's in there. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
I thought on the agenda, you would put them together. It should be, it'll be fine. They're together, yeah.
Let me just.
As long as we can see it, we're good.
They know how crazy my, Tara and Bev know how crazy things have been lately. My brain is having problems keeping up, so. How are you guys
That's
doing?
fine, because I'm in.
Everybody's all good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
We will move on to, new business. Okay, we did the new business, sorry. I'm a little bit, all right, so then we'll move on to old business. And, what?
Actually, the dwelling units probably should have been under new
no.
business, or maybe not, because
No, we had talked about it
still
previously,
working
I
on
think,
our ordinances, and that's old business.
Yeah.
It's gonna be for a
Okay.
while.
Do I need to do anything about the calendar? That was for the last time, right?
Yeah.
Do I? Do I need?
No.
No, I don't.
No,
Okay,
that's
so,
set for the.
all right, so we can move on to old business. Oop. Okay, so the first item under that is the zoning ordinance table of contents, that the outline has been updated. Look at that.
So, I don't know why it put this error when I printed it.
It did for me too.
I tried to print it different, I don't, so I'm just like, we'll figure it out.
Okay, isn't that what's in our book? In our-
Yes, but it says error in our book,
So, the one
I
I.
think.
sent-
No, the bound one doesn't say error, but is that one the updated, this
The one
bound?
that says error on the side.
Yeah.
is the updated one.
The one in the book is not updated yet, correct?
Oh.
Chrissy, so that is a formatting thing, because you use PDF and then try to do it to Word.
I just changed, because it's not.
So that is.
You updated it.
No, the one in the book is.
Obsolete.
So what's wrong? Is it the information or just the?
The page numbers?
It's not a lot of order, like we
Yeah.
discussed this last month.
Right, we did. Well, I wasn't here last month, but I remember that we were going to.
So like, I reorganized it so it made sense,
Mhm.
and like some of the special uses were in the supplemental regulations, different things like that, I just moved things around.
So that it makes sense and that
So
it's
that- correct.
intuitive. Okay.
And just some things were out of order. And then in doing that, I found things that words in here that could possibly be, and then there's things that are in there that I don't think should be.
Okay. And
So, I guess there's several different things to.
And I'm having trouble accessing it. Anyone else? Every time I hit the link, it,
So, Tasha, we have a printout of the new.
I don't know how those,
I don't know.
I was trying to hit the
This
link
table
and
of
those showed up.
contents Matching.
okay.
Oh,
What is,
was
what
I
is
on
linked to
another
the
page of the
agenda?
agenda?
I don't
Okay,
know.
thank
Is
you.
that what's linked to the agenda, is that different
It
than?
looks like I had the agenda twice.
Because I'm looking at it, it looks the same.
Yeah. The page numbers are different, but
Yeah,
the,
so, I don't have what you have.
you mean the paper copy? So at the last meeting, we talked about this,
And then
they printed them out,
Yeah, I have a paper copy from the last meeting.
and that brought me one.
do you want me to get up and show you what I have, Tasha?
Okay.
Because we're all like, I have this, but I don't.
The first one online is the one that I did, it just doesn't have the bookmark error on the right.
So we don't have a document with track changes. That's
No, I have.
probably what,
That,
I don't know where mine
that
is.
matches
I don't know where my
linked
tool
to the
is.
agenda.
I was just looking at the full
The
page.
page numbers are off, but how you reorganize everything matches the agenda.
Yeah, that's weird. Mine just showed up like that too. With this gray box at the side.
oh, and that box is what Tasha's talking about. That's where
Where the
they have
error
no
began.
thing. Yeah.
This is the full page.
I think it is the full page.
That's just,
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
that's second.
I don't
You
have
can
the-
zoom out.
Yeah, you can zoom in.
How do I get the
annotated, little annotation thing again?
It should be.
That's what this is.
So what is in
You
your
got a blank
book
page, yeah.
Oh, you're,
is what was in there before I just rearranged it. So
when
what
you
you
have the right
have,
to go back.
we haven't approved
Okay.
my amendment.
We have
So
not
what you have in the
there.
book,
Thank you.
What we had last time was like a working progress copy that
that was.
you were still gonna be doing some work on.
So when we first started, that's kind of, Leslie had kind of put that together. Well, I took that and I rearranged the whole entire thing. So what I brought today is not in your book, because we haven't approved it yet.
Right.
So if we do approve it, then that will then get updated.
Okay.
And that's what's on our screen, and
No,
This is what she brought tonight, so it hasn't been.
I already gave this to you a week ago. I emailed this to you with the agenda a week ago.
Right here.
I didn't print anything out.
On the table of contents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, we need to copy that here.
So you can look, we can look and see. It's all the same.
Because I thought,
Definitions.
okay, I thought this would be with the agenda, that it would be in here.
Yeah, so what you
This
sent
is why I
out
like paper.
matches what is linked in the agenda. What you
Correct.
sent out a couple weeks ago, Tasha, or last week.
Except that, and that's what that gray area is, it's covering, it's
Yes,
where the.
yes, that's just
yeah,
not showing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the page numbers obviously will all change.
Right,
Right,
but what you sent is matching what's linked in the agenda,
correct.
which matches what we have paper copies of.
So whatever is in this book right here, this supersedes it. So we don't have to worry about that, because we'll get updated copies.
I'm
Right.
just spot checking,
Yeah,
it matches,
yeah.
all three things match.
Yes, I
What
do.
Tasha sent out, what's linked in the agenda, and what we have printed out.
Right.
I just spot checked.
Yeah, and then the page one that she sent out in the email with the agenda.
I have that pulled up on my
Yeah.
phone, and that matches up.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we need to do with that?
okay.
Your iPad,
So there were, we have what you have, Tasha.
on your iPad is my draft of the correction of the table of contents.
Okay.
So what is printed in your book is not my draft, it's the first one that we started with,
Right.
okay? So, the printed copy that Chrissy made was the one that Leslie had kind of started. So it's the rough draft that, now that it's kind of printed, now we
Right.
kind of start going through that and moving stuff around, so. I reorganized it, so basically what most of the other zoning ordinances are. You kind of start with your title, your definitions, your general provisions, and then you go into your district. All of the districts are in there. And then the supplemental regulations, which are, you don't actually have very many of them. So we'll be either, I just put some in there, because this is kind of typical. I went through a whole bunch of other ordinances, and supplemental is kind of like your fences, your pools, your pole barns,
Article 12, supplemental regulations.
Yeah, so that's kind of what, a lot of people actually call them general provisions, but your ordinance calls them supplemental.
Okay.
So these are typical things that are allowed in most of the districts, like a fence. You can have a fence if you want to regulate them, as an example. A swimming pool, your accessory building.
And why do we call them something different than all the surrounding areas? Is that?
What the type, the supplemental?
Yeah.
Some of them do. South does.
Oh, okay.
Waverly does.
Okay.
So they have a general provision and a supplemental, so.
So it's not confusing then?
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm just thinking of someone new coming in, yeah.
And then you go on to your site plan review, then your special uses, and then, your PUD, then your,
PUG stands for?
site condo.
Planned unit development.
Where's that?
Parking.
Oh, I see it.
Tasha, I just have one suggestion right while I'm just looking at it. When an article, each one changes numbers, like the title, like site plan review, can those be a little larger and darker to kind of differentiate it a little bit?
That's kind of why
On your copy, you space them out further.
yeah,
That
so
looks
on my
nice.
copy, I kind of,
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
I like that.
okay.
I think
I like
having a
that
space
better.
in between them makes it more readable.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on paper, yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking, yeah. Looks great. Sorry.
But probably, once we get to the actual book, it'll probably be all together in the same paper, because, I mean, this really spaces it out a lot.
Yeah.
With all of that, so probably in the actual ordinance, yes, it could be highlighted when you get to a new article.
But I like the space to make it easier for, user-friendly. It's easier to look things up, to put your eyes on something quickly.
And then Article 18 is the non-conforming, sign regulations, and then the administrator of enforcement, the ZBA, and then the amendments of the public notices. I really wanted to move the ZBA, but it was very difficult to move this stuff around, so I just left it. I had to like retype it all, it wouldn't let me like cut and paste and move it around, so. So that's kind of the order that I guess it's your ordinance, but this is the order I like. And then we can do a quick, go through it one more time. So now that you have your printed copy, you can see that, Article 1 is already done.
Our printed copy of the ordinance?
So the new, the draft, very rough draft. The Article 1 is already, and we'll, at some point we'll go and I guess we'll have homework and we'll have you read kind of what's in there and, kind of go from there. The definitions, we kind of do the definitions last. I'm sure we'll be adding some definitions or removing some, so you kind of do that one last, but it's still be in Article 2. So there'll be times when we kind of go back and forth with the definitions.
Okay.
The general provisions, those are all in your draft. Leslie, I don't know if she cut and pasted them from another ordinance, or if she kind of wrote it herself.
Get to the end of my
So
definition.
there is text for all of those. When you get down to the wetland development,
And that is what?
the 3.15.
Okay, thank you. So, can I ask a question?
Sure.
In the red that's underlined, is that something new that you put in, or?
I didn't do any of that.
Oh, okay.
Leslie drafted all of it. Yeah, I don't have a copy. Yeah, so I'm assuming that the red is what she is new.
Okay,
That's my
okay,
guess.
yeah.
Is there blue in there somewhere, or is it just red?
Well, there's some crossed off.
Okay, so I'm guessing the red is new.
It's new, okay.
That's
So
my
that's
guess.
something that was put in there that we still need to go over and,
Correct.
Right,
So,
okay.
I think Leslie did a lot of this cut and pasting, and this is kind of, Christie had kind of put it together.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Christie had to finish it up, but, this is crazy because I printed those for you guys. I printed this from, probably a few days before from Christie's office. I don't have what you have.
Didn't make one for myself.
You didn't make the cut, Beth.
No, because
Don't forget about yourself.
That's crazy, oh my gosh.
Do you want, we can share, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's my last name, Sharer.
So are you then.
Oh, man, sorry, people.
So when
Okay.
I went through it, I actually kind of read, you know, I took the name of the whatever, you know, the purpose of zoning, the enactment declaration, and, you know, I kind of read through all of that, because I have a Word document of it, so I actually read through it, and, so all of the general provisions are in there,
Okay.
and they're pretty good, so we should just read through them one more time, just to make sure that you like what it says. The wetland development,
And that is?
the 3.15, it refers to maybe a map, and it might actually still refer to the DEQ.
Yes, it does.
So if you want to maybe make a star.
Oh,
or
Eagle, change it to Eagle.
Keep up on that one, we'll need to review that particular section, because we don't actually have a wetlands ordinance or a map, so I'd like to start.
Columbia Township does not have a wetlands ordinance or a map? Okay.
So
this
this whole
is-
section is new.
this
This
section
whole
is new.
needs to be reviewed.
So all of,
Well, all that needs to be reviewed.
That's just like people.
Come on. I said it.
We had something about
all of
wetlands.
these general provisions are all new,
Okay,
not, I don't think any of them are in your current ordinance.
okay.
Gotcha.
However, what
Okay.
Leslie had drafted, I had seen another ordinance, and I don't think they need to be changed. I guess that's what I'm saying. But the wetlands one, we need to review and revote.
Review and what, I'm sorry?
Just read that one, you
Okay.
might have to change that one.
Okay.
And then we kind of go through all the districts. Obviously, those are all, what they are. We kind of went through the setback, so I kind of had to put that chart together. And in your text, I think it says chart, dimensional chart or something.
Yes. Right here? No.
In the table of contents, it said, I thought I saw where,
What section are we at?
Oh, yeah, dimensional requirements, and then there's a
Chart 4.04.
So we kind of already discussed those, so we
Yes,
still
we
need to actually put that together and put that in there. I really highly suggest that we actually go through all of the districts and read through all the allowed uses, special uses, make sure that's what we want to add things. I know the agribusiness was a huge thing, now is the time if we want to discuss that. And then, yeah,
Tasha, do you recommend that we set out a schedule of our next meeting, we're just gonna discuss 2 articles?
Well, that's
or-
kind of what, yes, so that's kind of what, I kind of wanted to go through this real quick, and
Yeah.
then, yes.
Okay,
So now that we kind of have printed the draft, and we kind of have our table of contents kind of thing, so I think now we need to start going from the beginning and kind of to the end, except for the definitions, that one will kind of keep coming back to, and that will be kind of be at the end, but that will still be article number 2.
number 2, okay.
But for the most part, we're gonna,
Just work our way right through it.
we're gonna,
Good. I think that will help me feel like I understand it and more
and then in
organized,
that
yeah.
draft, we can't print it every week, but,
Right.
We can make
Chrissy
notes.
or whomever's gonna help, codify it, then we'll have it, I'm sure we can have it on there.
Or on our
So you'll be
iPad.
able to see kind of how we're progressing
What?
and,
Okay.
there are a lot of things that will just get moved around somewhere, so there really isn't a lot of text that we're gonna be doing. It's more of reviewing what we have and
Make sure it
making
flows
sure
well.
that's what we want, and then kind of integrating the few things that we've already decided on.
Yeah.
So, there are things in this table of contents that I'm not sure why are in there, so at one point, will probably see if we want to remove them.
Do you want to go over that now, things that so that we can maybe look at that,
Well,
or?
there's like, special uses that I think Leslie took from another township that don't really apply to us.
We can't really
Did you
do that.
send those?
What article are you on?
Well, we can't really do that anyway, can we? I mean, we can't just take text and put it in here and call it ours, can we?
If you adopt it, yes.
Yeah.
But we have to discuss it and adopt it, and make it all
Yeah.
official.
Right.
Right, and that's why it's important that we reread and go through this again as quick as we can, but it still needs to be done, because what we approve is
Correct.
Is it, yeah.
is it, so we need to be sure.
Okay.
And I said more than once, but I think she took another ordinance and she kind of mimicked that one a lot, and there's a lot of things in that ordinance,
Yeah,
and I know it because I work in that township, so I recognize the text.
yeah,
One of them was like septic hauling, sanitary septic waste hauling service facility.
And,
That's specifically for South Haven Township because they have one of those, and you guys don't.
Well, actually, we do,
You do have one?
yeah.
We do.
Business, yeah, that's a sewer side.
oh, would that be someone who pumps septic? Yeah, there is a business in town that, are they still there, right here?
I don't know. They're still-
They were,
I know that it's Dave,
what,
is Buddy Gaylor John our neighbor Junction?
is who?
Buddy Gaylor John, he's septic.
No, but, yeah,
So that's new, that's not currently in your ordinance that was added, just as an example. And so when we go through the special uses, Cheryl, then we'll,
okay.
I mean, I don't think I can point them all out tonight.
Okay,
But just
no,
as
that's
an
fine.
example, once we go through each of the sections,
And we can decide if the special use needs to be in a different section, or that's always gonna be a special use.
it will always
Okay.
be a special use, and whether you wanna keep it in there or not.
Okay, all right, I just wanna make sure I understood.
And then the micro housing development, that's only in South Haven Township, so I know that's something new. And that's like tiny houses, tiny house development type of thing. I mean, you might want it, but as an example, that's something you don't currently have. That's not on your table of contents, that.
right, and we don't have anyone actively trying to put a housing development in our township.
They might
Anyway.
be allowed tiny homes, I don't know.
Yeah, you
So
never
we
know.
don't, I know we talked about it, we do not allow tiny homes currently.
Not yet.
Your minimum dwelling size is 720 square feet.
How tiny are they?
The average tiny home is 225 square feet,
An
but
actual
anything
tiny home
is 200, average size of it is 225. Anything under 600 square feet is considered a tiny home, any 600 and over is considered a dwelling.
but an actual
Tiny home,
are the ones on the trailers that you move around.
right.
But I think when we say tiny home, we just think of a home smaller than 720.
Right, you're thinking of an actual home.
I think of a tiny house, and
you're thinking of a house, yeah.
I think of a home on your property that you live in, that's just smaller, like 4 or 500 square feet.
Yeah, from the TV show with the tiny homes, people are thinking homes. They're
Right.
not thinking like the
Yes.
little shed on 215 that,
Yeah.
it's cute.
Sorry,
Getting
I
that.
got distracted.
Looks quite small and have a wood burner in it, so I worry about that.
So I guess if we're just okay with this kind of rearranging.
Yeah, it's scary.
I mean, this isn't set in stone either, we certainly can change this if we need to, but if we could maybe kind of use this as our base and kind of start moving forward, maybe with this draft from today.
Then we kind of need to compare the text in here to the text that we currently have to make sure we don't stick something.
Well, I've kind of been doing that already,
Okay,
and we'll kind of do that,
together.
yeah.
Okay. Alright.
So that's kind of how I already knew that all these general provisions kind of was already drafted, so.
So, if I just work off of this one, that's okay then?
This one from today,
Okay,
which is not in your
which
book.
is not that.
That document with
Can we
this.
get
Yeah.
that printed up so we can put it in our book?
I have a copy of it. It was in an email that was sent to us, so all you gotta do is print out that email.
And I just want to let you guys know, when you've got something from planning commission that you want printed, you can email to Ruth, and her email should be on the website and come up as secretary. And just ask her, say, would you print this up for me? She'd be happy to.
Well, I used to print them, and then I would bring them here, and I found out there were already copies here, so I stopped making copies.
Yeah, it's fine.
So,
No, it's okay. So this, we should just flip right in the front of this then. Got it.
Take the place of this one.
Yeah.
but if someone knows how to use the copier, Dave, I can give you a copy before the meeting.
Actually, if it's an email.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, if I can leave the meeting, I'll go do that right now. Make copies of.
Maybe.
Do anybody want?
I would like one then.
You too.
Thank you.
But, yeah, so the draft that you have, we're gonna kind of, because that one is kind of already in order a little bit, we're gonna kind of,
Go through that.
and we're gonna kind of go back and forth using them both, so.
Okay. So should I have a copy of the other one, the old one, or will you
should
be?
have the current one, yes.
You should have current.
You should.
Yeah, you want
Oh,
to-
yeah, okay, yes, I do, I'm sorry,
Yes.
yeah, okay. I forgot that I had that
Yeah,
binder.
so we'll be taking a lot of the current text and putting it in
Into
there,
this,
and it's
okay.
kind of already in there, because Leslie took the current and put in the new stuff,
Just
so.
rearranged it.
Do they need hole punch?
Yeah, if you can, that'd be great.
Yeah, I guess it, yeah.
And so to me, this is why it's important that you stay to give us some continuity, because if we're trying to break in someone that, and especially someone that has no experience, so hopefully someone will give public comments to the board.
A planner come in and probably do a better job than me.
A planner,
Really nice
it
job.
costs,
Planner, yes.
a real planner, at how much
Planner.
would that cost the
I don't
township?
know.
A lot more than we
They
have.
raised my fees, and I assumed.
How do you turn this
yeah.
sucker on? Oh, right there, no.
You do a really nice job. Just nice. Because this is a lot to know, and
It sure is.
and you gotta listen to all of us when we don't understand what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you for your patience with me too.
And your fairness.
Unfair?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I asked the question, I don't think even your eye contact.
Well, I mean, you're
Yeah, you are.
neutral, I love that, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
So
much.
we can kind of move on from that if you want to, and we can kind of work on, the dwelling size and the accessory dwelling unit if you want to, and then, so next month, do you wanna work on?
Yeah,
Or let's kind of.
What do you want us to go through for next month? Should we pick 2 articles or just one? What do you think we can get through? In a meeting.
We should do probably more than one.
Okay.
So let's read through the general provisions.
Okay.
So in the draft that you have, the new draft that Christie just printed or whomever,
Read through the new provisions.
that's where the draft text is.
So that'll be for April, right?
Right.
The general provisions you want us to read.
Well, there's more, because
Okay.
that's not very many.
Can we,
17.
could we possibly put a section and see if we can get through a section at a time? Instead of,
Yeah, I wanna do a lot, like I wanna start doing the districts also.
Okay.
oh,
For
okay.
next month, so you already have the text to read, the general provisions.
Mhm.
Or let's do Article 1, because that is also new. Article 1, general provisions, number 3.
Okay.
So in the draft that you have, you're gonna read that text.
We're gonna read Article 1 and Article 3, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And then,
1,
because
2,
that won't take very
3.
long,
Mhm.
Okay.
the text is already there, and basically, we're gonna read it and say this is good, and we're gonna move on.
And we'll read them at home and make our notes and then.
Right.
Come back and
Yeah.
read them.
Right.
Yeah. And then, I think our next plan of attack should be the district.
Okay.
So read through, you kind of need to read the current. And probably the current and the draft probably are the same, because we didn't do anything in
Okay.
there.
So
I don't know
Article,
why we couldn't go through, like R1 and R2 are very close to the same.
what is it? Oh, okay.
So it's 5 and 6?
How about we do add R1, R2, RO?
Sure. So that's Article 5, 6, 4 through 7.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Because I think the commercial district and the overlay will take a little bit, because the overlay kicks into the special use, and that's a whole other section of
Okay.
it, of itself also.
Okay.
So read through the draft text,
Okay.
and then the article, the ag, R1, R2, RO, kind of read through the uses and the special uses to see if you think you should add some, take some away, those types of things. And then we'll kind of go from there, and then I'll kind of put some notes together, I guess,
So this is like our final read for any mistakes, changes, whatever,
We'll
pretty
have
much.
lots more reads, we'll read through it, but if we do kind of an article at a time, then we can,
Yeah.
Put it to
you know,
bed.
this one's done, and check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah. And I like it because it's
you know,
sequential.
maybe if we get through half of the book, we can maybe do a public hearing,
Yeah.
you know, because we budgeted for more than one hearing, so at some point, we should do a hearing so people can kind of come read it and,
Yeah.
you know, kind of input on what we have.
Right.
And then, yeah, I think we, do what, 3 or 4 hearings maybe on that question?
I thought we did.
Yeah, so, but I think it'll take some time to kind of go through the uses and stuff,
Mhm.
so that would definitely be, you know, and then for each meeting, if we could, you know, kind of, you know,
Chug along.
the next one, we'll do, you know, the commercial, the overlay, and the industrial, you know, kind of keep moving on. Obviously, the mobile home park will be pretty easy. You know, and then our next task will be the supplemental regulations, and those will just be one meeting and stuff, so.
Okay.
Just keep, you know, once we get to like the site plan review, we already have site plan review text, so basically we're gonna read through that, you know, if you'd like to see, you know, other people's, you know, samples of their site plan review. I've read enough ordinances, so I kind of already know what I like and what I think you guys want on your site plan, which is basically what you want,
Okay.
what you want to see when you do a site plan. And then we'll just kind of keep going each article article and chapter at a time. And then hopefully Christie or you can help us codify some of this text. Okay, so, cause that's what I don't have the time for, part of that stuff. So hopefully each meeting, you know, we'll have time to put it in there, and then we'll have this runny draft document, but not necessarily printed, so.
Okay.
It'd be a lot of paper.
You know, kind of my concern that when we make a decision, that it actually kind of gets written down somewhere.
Right, so on your draft, make sure you're making notes and, you know, sticky notes on whatever date, you know, April, whatever, we approved this article, you know, and in your own book, and then, you know, at some point, we'll probably print another one, but it'll be more online. Now that you have your iPad, you'll be able to flip through the pages and you'll read your own notes.
Okay.
Now that we're kind of getting into it, we've done quite a bit, so once we, you know, get with Christie, and then we'll need to make sure that what we've already kind of decided on is kind of in there. So I don't think any of that's really in there. The few little things that we decided already.
Okay.
That's all I can plan.
Sounds like a great plan.
So I've worked my way through like half of it. And
Wow.
he advised there's a lot of stuff in here that should not be in here, like sanitary landfills and.
Correct,
Gravel
and
bonds and
that's
stuff.
exactly what we'll go through. We'll go through
Yeah.
all those things. And I've already noticed that, yeah, there's weird things in there that were kind of added, that shouldn't, or that are currently in there, that I thought were, well, I know you discussed the racetrack, that you had kind of discussed, so we'll go through each one of them and.
So just because it's in here doesn't mean it has to be.
Right.
Correct, it's still your township, and even if you have one already, you could still take it out, so there wouldn't be any new ones, and that particular one that's there would be grandfathered, as an example, is, you know.
Oh, can we do that with junkyards?
Actually, I don't think you can do that. I think
Yeah,
you have to.
so I was wondering if it was legal to do that with racetracks.
I think you have to, unfortunately, that particular one, if you have one and it's already there, I think you have to continue to allow.
You have to allow new ones?
What ones are you talking about?
So,
Ginger?
Like.
Oh, no, I'm talking about junkyards right now.
Okay, I thought you were talking about racetracks.
Oh,
I'm like, do we have a racetrack?
Right, no.
yeah.
Where's the
But a racetrack, you don't have to allow a racetrack?
No.
If you ask different attorneys will say different things. So, you're supposed to allow most types of uses somewhere in the ordinance. So, if you have, so I have some who have an industrial district, but it's not on their map. But it's on like their master plan, so that's kind of how they get away with some of the things you don't really want. You put them somewhere, like, you have very limited commercial.
We used to have an industrial district
So
because it
as
was
an
right by
example,
me.
you put the racetrack in the commercial district, you would be less likely to get one because you
Of
don't
this
have
space.
Very much.
Well, isn't there something about you can't be too restrictive?
Correct, so if you talk to some attorneys, they're like, oh, well, you need to allow most uses somewhere, but.
Even though our master plan doesn't support,
Right,
because
or
our
even
master
like-
plan talks about the quiet, peaceful, rural setting.
Correct, so then if you talk to another attorney, you know, so your attorney.
We should do that. We better figure this out.
Is that on iCompass? Or are they?
No.
I'm not sure where those are.
I don't know.
I'm sure Christie could provide them for you though.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because then
They
you
are
know.
interesting.
I've never even seen a compiled,
Sure,
uh,
we got the actual survey.
The survey from when we did the the capital improvement, or when we did the master plan?
The master
Oh,
plan.
okay.
There's been
the
like.
Oh.
no, the master plan one, yeah, I've seen.
Okay,
I have not seen them.
Whatever we did last summer.
That was
There's been
capital improvement.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that. Okay, then I haven't seen that. Capital improvement, that's right. Yeah, I haven't seen that, sure.
Check those, because then you'll see what the people in the community actually want.
And I believe
Right,
there is one
and that's important.
I believe there is one. I thought I eyeballed something on the website, and too
So-
much information right now.
Do we want to move on to the next thing. Do I have to like motion that we all agree on that or no? Okay, all right. So let's move on to the next one, the minimum dwelling square footage. I asked to revisit that just simply because I felt like there had been some discussion, but is that something that we could discuss in one of the articles? Should we wait to get there and discuss it when we discuss that article?
You can, and that would be in the supplemental, so the minimum dwelling requirements will be in the supplemental section.
Okay, okay.
Or we can discuss it tonight, and if you kind of come up with something, then we kind of already know what to put in there.
Okay.
So the minimum,
What we have now is 720.
correct, so I was assuming you were referring specifically to the size and not the actual section
Correct.
of the minimum dwelling requirement.
Correct.
But the size.
Right, but the size of the dwelling, yeah.
So in there, I also put the current text in there.
Is that was it in the email that you sent? I printed that one out.
This is not from today.
It's on line 2, isn't it? Right here.
Or if you have your current ordinance, the current ordinance is 410, page 37. Is the current one there, you get 720 for up to a 2-bedroom, and then the third bedroom is 150, so 870.
How can I find it?
Because you're looking at
Or
the current.
10,
Here.
Well, wait, you know what, I had a printout, because I have it right here. Oh, it came in the email. It's thorough. Yeah, I noticed that at 150 square feet of floor area for each additional bedroom.
Correct.
That's a big bedroom. I mean,
15 by 10.
yeah, I mean,
Well,
there's
more-
bedrooms that are 9 by
more
12.
the home. So you have more people, I guess, so you need a larger home, might have been the idea. I
Right.
think this here thing is goofy as all get out.
I
If you
do
wanna
too.
have 4 bedrooms and 720 square feet,
Then you should have 4 bedrooms and
because
720
the
square
building
feet.
code at some point, will just take the size, there's a certain size your bedroom can.
Well, in order to get a bed in, right, you're gonna need it. But I think the 720 square foot minimum is, personally, in my opinion, it's excessive. I think.
Oh, it's not at all, I thought, I'm on the wrong side.
That's a
That's a 2-bedroom apartment.
that's a 14 wide by, what is that? It's 14 by
Yeah.
30.
So I kinda did the
It's-
math, so 14 by 52 is 728.
I saw it right there, 14 by
I kinda did
52.
the math,
Yeah,
or I did as much math as I could, so you didn't have to be doing math.
728 square feet.
So what are you saying, Jill? It's what?
I think that, I mean, and I think that is a pretty hefty requirement. I mean, you can build a home smaller than that is livable. What if you have one person living in a home and they want to build a home that's smaller than that, but they can't build a home on their property that's smaller than 720 square feet? Because why, is my question. If they have sanitation, if they have everything, why can't they? It's just kind of what I wonder.
Will you come, all my townships can say that?
I'm not sure, but the only township is, South Haven Township is the only one that allows
680.
less. Which I'm just wondering why.
I'm not sure.
I'm seeing Waverly is 720, and they're usually pretty,
Yeah, so they
rough.
recently, they went down, they were up at 960 and they went down, I don't know, it's probably been 10 years ago now, but, so I kinda took the area on that. I'm not sure where South Haven actually got 680, cause it's a weird number.
Yeah, I think it's, when actually, it's a small home at 600 square feet, but it's not considered a tiny home, if we wanna make, yeah,
and
I mean.
I think I know where this came from. I think this was because they were trying to limit the really older mobile homes.
Yeah.
And that's why, because the older ones were a certain size, and I'm talking like pretty old ones.
Yeah.
The 1970s and 80s, those are the scary fireboxes.
And, yeah, they're dangerous, so that's where that came in. So I don't know if it's legal to, I mean, how could we address that and do a lower, is there a way to address that and do a
So
lower?
kind of down here, so I kind of put in there, so the township, you can pick whatever size you want. So typically you have a square footage and then you also have a width. It's typically the zoning, but again, it's your township, you can do whatever you would like. So you currently do 14 feet, so you will still allow single wide mobile homes. So whatever you decide, you still have to at least allow a double wide. So whatever width you choose, you can stick with the 14, go down to 12 if you want to, or the 24.
What's the average square footage of a double wide? I don't know.
It's about 960.
They're pretty good size.
So 24 by 40.
Or a single wide, I'm sorry.
A single wide is, 12 by 60 is a pretty standard size.
Okay,
Those are a lot of the mobile home park sizes.
okay,
And that's 720.
20, okay. So that's why,
That's where that number came from. I remember that from being around before.
but my
board
question
meetings.
is, if somebody wants to stick build a house
Correct.
and they want to build a 650 square foot stick built house, they're not allowed to do that?
They can. Oh, no, correct.
So is there a way to do both? Is there a way to say, if you're stick building, you can go, because if you say, we want this minimum width on a mobile home on a single wide, doesn't that take care of it?
So if you did 16 feet in width, then you would not allow single wides anymore because they're only, or 20, I'm sorry. If you did 20 feet in width, then single wides wouldn't be allowed because those are 12 or 14.
Right, what is single width is 12 or 14.
Sometimes they're 16, but if you had 20 feet, then no one could bring in a single wide mobile home anymore.
What are the older ones? Do you know typically size? The older mobile homes, the ones that are dangerous and,
The 12 feet ones are,
oh, they're still 12 feet in width?
yeah.
So what we're saying is, if you set it at a minimum of
So if you stick with your 14,
15,
so that's fine, so.
just one wall of the house has to be 14.
Correct.
Okay.
So I kind of did the math down below, so 14 by 30 is 420 square feet. I didn't know what size you were thinking. A 14 by 40 is 560. And then just as an example, to kind of give you an idea of what, so if you went to 500 square feet, you know, then if you get 14 feet in width, then the single lot, you would still allow a single
You
lot.
still won't allow a
And I
single wide.
don't know that the intent is to not allow them, correct? I think,
Right, I just
yeah, so the width.
I just think 720 is kind of
So the width needs to stay at the 14.
at the 14, because that will weed out some of the
Small turtles.
that are okay.
And then, if you just lessen the square footage, then
But you still have a wall that's
there's not a
14.
single wide that's a 14 by 30 as an example.
Right.
Park models might be, but that's not a dwelling, so that's a totally different. But the stick-built homes would be easier to build with the 14 by 30 or
Right.
600 square feet.
600 square feet.
So the width and the square footage doesn't necessarily have to match because.
So if you keep it at 14 feet wide, you could take it down to 650 or 600 square feet minimum, and you could do that. I just think that if somebody owns a piece of property and wants to build a small home on their piece of property,
Why not?
they should be able to. You know, what if it's somebody who's building it just, you know, for a weekend cabin, if they still have to have their sanitation, and they have to have their, you know, like septic and a well, why should we restrict that if they're building it for, you know, 2 people to have to come at the weekend or one, you know, or something like that? I don't understand.
There are a lot of people want to have a cabin,
Right.
only to use it for hunting, or I just want to, they call them cabins. I don't really know what their definition of cabin is, but I think kind of that Amish shed thing that you put out there, and you kinda, you know, hook some water to it. I'm not sure what they mean by cabin, but
I think,
I think you have a large hunting population, I think, and I do get calls for cabins that I'm gonna use on the weekend.
Mhm.
So now, you're talking about a shed as a cabin? No.
Okay.
I was being kind of facetious, but there are Amish sheds that the Amish build that are about 14 or 16 by 40 that look like cute little houses that people call them cabins. And then basically they buy it and they build it out on the inside. They put in a bathroom and a kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen them. They kind of.
I've not seen them used at a home other than on 215, a little
They got
shed.
like a little porch on the end
Yeah.
and.
Well, I mean, and we're not getting into the
okay.
whole tiny house movement, but we're allowing, I guess I think of it this way, if somebody wants to purchase a piece of land and actually build on that, that is going to increase your tax revenue. You know what I mean? They're gonna maintain that property better if it's something that they are invested in, so I don't know why it seems a little punitive to me.
Well, the other side of it is, you do have very small lots of record on your fire lanes. So some of them are only 40 feet in width, you know, as an example, so your setbacks are less than most townships in those districts. So, and then.
It's not gonna be someone
So
that's
there's
gonna
a lot
build.
of people that want a pole barn, and then they wanna put an apartment in it.
Yeah.
So the smaller size would kind of help those people have an apartment in their pole barn, you
There's
know.
a provision in our new ordinance here for that. For, like, living in the upstairs of a pole barn, something like that.
Right, that's the accessory dwelling unit, we haven't discussed that yet, but I
Yeah.
meant as your primary dwelling so you wouldn't have another house.
Right.
Just combine them together.
Have you ever had anyone approach you wanting to build a smaller home?
Here?
Yes.
Yes,
Have you?
Smaller than 720?
yes.
But wanting to build a
All
home?
my township, yes, yes.
Okay. Not like
Not
the people that just say that and then they
No, they
put a
want
camper
to
there,
own-
4 years later, they're still living in the camper. Not like that. Legit request.
I live by myself, I don't need 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know.
Now, I owned in Kalamazoo, a home that was 650 square foot, small home. And, it was just me living there. It was functional. But me personally, if it wouldn't have had a basement, I couldn't have survived. But I could see, I mean, people live in
It's just
small
another
homes.
option.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
What's a tiny house, what's the square footage again, I'm sorry?
Average is 225,
Yes,
but
an actual tiny
anything
home,
under
yeah.
600 feet.
Yeah,
Under
Square
600?
Yeah.
but we're just calling it a smaller
Small
home.
home.
Yeah.
Under 720, we're not really calling it a tiny home in our ordinance.
Right.
Technically, yeah.
Right.
Your minimum dwelling size would be 600 square feet which isn't technically a tiny home, but it's a smaller home.
Even if you did 650, I think it would ease the burden.
650 to 720, that's almost no money to build a little bit bigger.
If you have the money to do it, but building costs per square foot are high, and if you don't.
have to have the septic
So
system
you wouldn't
and the
want to
well
do a
and the
50,
pumping.
because that's an odd size. If you did 600,
Okay.
you could build 20 by 30, and that's standard building size,
Yeah.
as an example.
20 by 30 is a standard building size?
Yeah.
Is there any reason to not allow that?
I don't know, how low do you want to put your standards? I mean,
I don't think that's
Doesn't mean
a
your standards
standard,
are low,
right.
it's just.
You've
I
got
wouldn't
houses
live in
that are
it.
big that aren't kept up, and just because it's small doesn't mean that it's not nice,
So-
that someone's not gonna do a good
Yeah,
job
when
with
we're talking about somebody actually building a home,
it.
to me, I know where you're coming from, Dave. I've got,
Because there's
yeah,
crap.
but, in my mind, I'm thinking, if somebody's actually building a home, I would love for some of the people near me to
Build.
be
To build a
serious
home, yeah.
and build a little home, not just come and camp there and then, just
And you do
ruin my
allow
property value and my
single-wide
peace of
mobile
mind.
homes. Most townships don't allow single-wide mobile homes, so you're already allowing a type of home that typically costs less to put onto your property, and people are still choosing to live in a camper.
And maybe that's something that the township needs to look at is
Which
because
part of it?
this ordinance was put in place to try to control the mobile homes that came in because people were trying to bring in unsafe,
So there, not that I'm
mobile homes
encouraging
that weren't
but,
fit to live in.
Lee Township, they used to have, it had to be, it couldn't be any older than 15 years from the year that you were putting it in.
Ours isn't like that?
No.
Which isn't technically legal, but they got away with it, so, I mean, your ordinance does require that Chuck does inspect it.
Because we bought a camper and moved
And
it
that's
into the
another
township.
problem.
Chuck inspected
So
it.
that's what it says, but it doesn't
I
give
thought it had
a year, but.
I thought it had a specific year. It had to be.
So, I see people look at Columbia Township as the place you go to get away with stuff you can't do anywhere else.
Well, that's true
And that's
unless you're
kind of
living on a lake.
Yeah.
I mean, it is true. And I've heard that more than once.
So
I
make
see
Columbia
it,
Township a place
but
you can do anything because their standards.
it's not our ordinances that are the problem.
Yeah.
It's our
It's our
enforcement.
enforcement.
I don't necessarily think that 600 square feet, though, is a low standard. I think it's a small dwelling.
It's a small dwelling.
It's a small dwelling, but it doesn't mean that it's a low standard. It means that it's a small dwelling. I think a low standard
And that is better than a camper.
than a camper.
yeah,
And it might be something, because maybe someone has a camper on a piece of property, and they could build something that's smaller. I mean, per square foot building costs are astronomical.
So you could
But
build
this has been
a pole
right,
type
ongoing
dwelling,
thing for
600 square
decades.
feet. Because you allow, when we fix the ordinance, you'll be able to actually have a pole type dwelling, because it doesn't really say that now, but I'm sure Chuck issues them, so.
Right.
So a pole type, 20 by 30 dwelling is less cost than a stick-built home.
Right.
But then the home could then look like a pole barn and they're living in it, I don't know, there's.
And
There is
it's,
gonna be people that mess
there-
it up.
Yeah. Well, and if there's gonna be people that's the style of home they choose, I guess unless we have certain, standards of your house has to look this way and that way, but no one's gonna come and live here.
right,
It's like
right.
homework.
I know kind of what Dave's thinking, and because I know Dave, I know where he's coming from, and I think and maybe I shouldn't be speaking for you, Dave,
Have
but
those tiny little houses.
what we're thinking of, what I want to see for this community is when someone comes in and builds something, I don't care to me, it doesn't matter what the size is. I want them to actually have a septic. I don't want to have to deal with it dumping into the river, the stream.
Right.
I want them to be expected to not have a junkyard on their property, on their lot that other people have to look at. I want them to actually
Care.
do a little bit to maintain their property, right, to show for our community to not look like,
Crap.
like.
So do you
like
think
meth heaven. I'm not saying that making this smaller will
Cause that.
cause that. That's
Okay.
what I was just saying to Dave. It's not our ordinances that have been the problem.
Right.
It's been the lack of follow-through, enforcement, inspection, being able to call, get an inspector to follow through, all those things. So, and what you're saying that it does seem punitive, because I'm thinking, there are people out there that when you talk about the cabin,
Yeah.
that would be nice, and if people are going to go to the trouble to build a home.
They're going to probably maintain it, or
Right.
have an investment in it. I guarantee you've got people living in less than 600 square feet in the houses that are falling down.
some of the smaller ones, yeah, but that's not why they're falling down.
Right.
It's not because they're small, it's because
Because
they
they're-
weren't maintained for whatever
Right.
reason.
Right.
It's not always poverty, so I'm gonna just put that out there.
Right.
It's,
Well, and, I mean, smaller type homes, then you could afford the septic as well. Maybe,
Right.
I mean, not that 720 is a huge size.
But it can make a difference when you're,
You know,
Well,
it's
if
taking
you can
away
afford
flexibility.
like $150,000 to build a home, you can afford another $20,000 to make it big enough.
I think that's very assumptive.
Yeah,
So maybe they
yeah.
don't want, maybe someone doesn't want to do that. That's super assumptive. I might be able to build a $150,000 home,
You might.
but not a
stretch.
$170,000.
Because
Might
some people,
stretch to do
it's-
150.
it's, like an environmental thing, it's a footprint thing.
Right.
The
Yeah.
thing is, so if
They
it
wanna
costs
live
them
efficiently and
75, even if they can build it for 75, 80,000, that's great if someone could build themselves a home for that, because we have a problem with people being able to have homes. The problem is, no matter what they're spending, if we don't
Right.
push the township to do the things that it should be doing to make it look the way it should look, regardless
Right, it doesn't matter
of
what
your
size.
income level, regardless of the size of your home, regardless of, I don't even care if it's like, I've seen some nice pole barn homes that look nice, and they didn't do it cheap, so I don't know why anyone would want to do it myself, but that.
So, it doesn't have to be unanimous, I don't have to agree.
Right, I'm just trying to make sure that we all,
so,
are thinking about
do we need a
understanding each
motion
other
then?
mostly.
It's not that I don't.
under the current state of Michigan building code chart,
Mhm.
a 600 square foot home is about $66,100. A 720 square foot home is $79,400. So that's about a $13,000 difference.
That's a,
And
that's a
that
chunk.
doesn't
I
include
mean,
the actual building cost today, that's
just a
just
state of
a
Michigan chart.
standard. If you were to build a home and
Yeah,
didn't tell me how much it would cost, then
Mhm.
this is the cost
that's
that I
So
would
I wonder if there's something about getting a bank loan, if you can get a bank loan for something under 720.
I could answer that question for you by tomorrow.
Okay.
My husband, oh gosh, my son is a mortgage broker.
Oh.
And he did say, because I asked him questions about things like this for people. So, he said the accessory dwelling unit thing, he said in a lot of other townships, they have a problem because someone will have a cottage on their property or a guest cottage, and if it's not allowed in the zoning, it's not allowed to be included in the appraisal or anything. And it causes a lot of problems
Yep.
for someone to get a mortgage in the future.
Yeah, or refinancing, yes. So a lot of it is, if it burns down, can I rebuild it? And then I have to say no, because it's not allowed. And then it's, oh, well, how is it there already? I'm like, probably since the 60s, but it's not allowed.
Yeah, so they may be able to get a mortgage based on the township allows it. Now, it's just, will FHA support a small home or not?
So do we know what
I don't know.
so you're gonna check and see what the minimum
Yeah, I could get you
square
a really
footage
good answer on
or the
that.
minimum,
Mortgage.
to get a mortgage, what, the minimum square footage is in order
Yeah,
to get a
if there is a
mortgage?
minimum square footage.
Yeah, and that would be to construct, so if you're buying a home that's that size, that's different.
Yeah,
If you're
right.
getting a loan, a construction
construct.
loan.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should do that and base it off of that.
I don't really know what the.
And you know,
I mean, does that seem like a reasonable thing, is to,
It says the IRC code requires that all homes must be built on a minimum of 320 square feet.
okay.
The minimum square footage for a house is 120 square feet, and at least one room must be habitable.
that's the building code.
120 square feet.
That's the international
I
building
don't
code.
think I could, I don't think I could.
Kara, is
I would
that
never
the
suggest
international
that.
building code you're quoting?
What if somebody wants?
To get a mortgage,
That's not the building code, she's reading something.
that's to get a mortgage.
Let me keep looking.
Well, that seems a
I'll
little
find
bit
out the truth,
excessive.
yeah.
So is that something we should, think about putting in there, and then we can
Well, because
make
then we're
a motion
assuming
on
that
it.
they're gonna get a mortgage. I mean, they might
They might
build
not.
it as they go.
Yeah, and that's fine. But at least if you have something in there that is mortgageable, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they could get a mortgage on, that opens up a lot more options for people to
I
actually
think
build
you're
in
just
it.
opening more options no matter what,
For people to build in the community.
no matter what it may be.
And this has nothing to do with this, but just for general information, so people could pass this around. MISTA in this area, rural development does have ultra-low income loans. People would probably need to have somewhat decent credit, but they do super low interest
Okay.
loans for people with very low income. That's just something good to know.
That's good to know.
Probably little or no money down, all.
Yeah.
So, let's pick a number, and we'll put that number in there, and then we'll obviously go
vote on
back to it.
Okay.
But if we.
I'd say 600, just to start. We can dicker with it. I know you don't like it, Dave. I can see your hand.
I'll stick to something.
And that's the 30 by 40 you said, that's,
So 600 square feet is a 20 by 30.
So that keeps the 14-foot minimum in there.
Or just as, so
Yeah.
if it was 14 feet, then it would be like 14 by 45 or something.
Which, yeah.
14 by, that's 630. So if someone wanted to build a stick-built home, 14 feet in width, that'd be about 14 by 45.
Which,
As an example.
yeah.
And
Most
you're probably
people are
not
gonna
gonna
build
find a single-wide mobile home
Yeah, do it
that's
more square,
14
right, yeah.
by 45, because most of them are 50 or 60, so.
Okay.
But if you were stick building your home, you probably wouldn't build it 14 feet in width.
right, yeah.
You would
No.
probably do 20 by 30,
30,
because that's
yeah.
a pretty standard size, so.
Okay,
So stick with the 14 feet in width,
I think so, yeah.
600 square feet.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll pencil that in.
All right. Okay.
So are we taking out this other additional 150 square feet per bedroom?
I would
Yeah,
propose that we would eliminate almost all of the rest of that paragraph. We'll
Okay.
read it over again when we get to it, but.
Yeah, that
Probably
seems
most of
strange to me.
that.
If you want to add another bedroom, it has to be 150 square feet?
So my only thought on that
It
is,
has to be.
okay,
Probably your
so-
living room will be a
Not
little
the
bigger,
bedroom.
your bedroom
Okay,
will
okay.
be bigger, your kitchen will be
A
bigger.
bedroom that big?
in a 600 square foot with 2 bedrooms, they're both very, very small. I'm telling you, the rooms are very small.
Yeah.
Very small. You can fit maybe a twin bed in one, maybe a full bed in, because I lived in a home this size,
Right.
so. Is there any kind of safety, a construction code, like the International Construction Code, out there that says, how many bedrooms, how could you put 3 bedrooms in something
Yeah,
that
so the
size?
building-
Would it be safe?
Building code would say the size of the bedroom.
Okay.
Okay,
So it's the Michigan Building Code. So once you submit your construction plans and you have 4 bedrooms in there, and they're this big,
Right,
it's
they're
not
going to
gonna
say
meet
no.
the building code for a bedroom.
Okay.
so do we know if 600 square foot is compatible with a minimum of 1 bedroom?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
600 square feet, you could just have an open floor plan. You wouldn't necessarily have to have a closed-off room.
But you can, yeah, and
So
a bedroom,
once
an
you
open
close the
kitchen
room off to be a
or
bedroom,
bathroom. Yeah.
it is required to be a certain size.
And this would be the building inspector who would catch these things?
Yes,
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that Chuck?
yes.
He's been doing it forever. What?
The answer
Okay.
is yes, that would be
Okay.
something that
Oh, no.
whomever the building
Yeah, he's a-
official is, when they looked at the construction
Okay.
drawings, would look at those things.
On the drawings, and then they're supposed to make a final inspection, aren't they, the building inspectors?
Yes. If you build a new home, he should be doing several inspections.
Mm.
A footing, a rough-in, and a final.
Okay.
Yes.
So the zoning person just does the permit. They would just make sure that the plan,
Correct, so when I
the
get a permit,
setbacks, the size.
so in the zoning, there are certain criteria that I also need to look for, so I also need to see the construction documents. I need to make sure the height, and there's some other things in here that are in zoning that are also building things, so I do look at the plans to make sure they meet my part also.
Okay,
But I wouldn't look at the size of the bedroom to make sure that met.
right.
But I would look at the height, the size, to make sure it's 14 feet in width, the height, the site plan. There are some foundation things in here,
How if
but,
we go with 680?
you know, I'm
Then we're not
not,
making a lower standard than anybody in the area.
and then in here, it talks about porches and steps, and there's a few.
I don't know why it's a lower standard though, necessarily. Because if you could still have, if the width of it still allows us to have a mobile home, right?
Mhm.
So is your objective to get rid of those?
No.
Okay, because those are over 680 anyway,
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Okay, so if,
Yeah, I don't care if they're mobile homes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, a single wide is a 14 by 50 or 60. A 14 by 60 is very common.
I hate to see Columbia Township to be the place where, oh, you can't do it there, oh, go to Columbia Township, you can get away with it.
but I guess I'm having trouble making the connection of why is a small home that? I mean, I would think that mobile homes depreciate faster,
Yes.
and they,
Talk about getting a loan, you
can't get a loan for one of those, but you could for a
You can get a
home.
predatory loan, that's for
That-
sure,
right.
from like a,
But you know what I mean, there's
Countrywide or
depreciation in
something.
there, and so to me, I guess I look around and I think, well, that would almost make it, without, I don't mean to say, I don't wanna sound like not appropriate, but it seems like because of they devalue so fast, that would almost be a lower standard than something that's small. Yeah, that's
well, what I'm thinking, what I'm thinking the
the
root problem
problem, though.
here is our ordinance on the temporary dwelling camper things,
Right.
I think needs to be
Which is
tightened up
different,
more.
yeah, and that's
Because
okay.
someone can say they're gonna build a home, they live there up to 2 years,
Mhm.
and they do nothing. Maybe that's the area that we need to find a way to get a grip on what we do have going on.
So you can proceed with this.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, we're just.
Well, and we can talk about it more when it's in there before we do a final thing.
Richard could put in his.
Yep,
consent.
absolutely, since he's not here tonight, so, okay. Yeah, we can talk about it more, I just wanted to bring it up.
So, yeah.
Okay. And it's 8:45. What else do we need to, do you wanna go over the accessory dwelling, or is that,
That's kind of why I just
Okay.
bring it up, so.
Yeah, I just want to bring that up because I feel like it's something that we should do, especially after I went to that housing seminar, or the webinar. And our planning information from MSU, they've been hitting on that topic too, the magazine that they send out. And in our community, you've got older people, you've got younger people, that are, older people need someone to help take care of them. Sometimes younger people are having a hard time getting a start.
And I probably get more questions, a need for that than probably a smaller size home.
Yeah.
The
So, would be
or a
this,
second
okay.
dwelling, or, yeah.
I think it would be, to the benefit of the community, because I hear all the time, and I'm experiencing from someone I know personally, no places to rent. And when you find a place, a 2-bedroom trailer in Columbia Township, $1,000 a month.
are you serious?
I mean, it's getting crazy. It's,
Wow.
yeah, but that's a way to help ease some of the housing crisis, and they're nationwide, they're talking about this, because we are in a crisis, because there's no housing stock out there, and then the younger people can't always afford to build to go buy a house, build a house. And this is a way to kind of bridge that gap, plus bring more housing into your community. If you're going to allow, I don't know how far we want to take it, if you talked about like the guest cottage.
Lots of points to think about, so.
Or allowing an additional unit, if you've got a place you can remodel and put 2 apartments in it, what is wrong with that? If it gives another living unit in the township. So that's, I don't know where to take this other than putting this on the table.
So Kansas Township in Allegan County, they have a guest cottage that they allow. So the guest cottage is basically a separate structure. They don't, up to 600 square feet. Theirs doesn't allow a kitchen, but that's just, if you were gonna have a dwelling, obviously you would allow a kitchen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of their little standard. They have more where it can't be rented and all that. I don't know that we want to get into that.
Right.
And then the city of Douglas, they allow accessory units, and the city of Saugatuck. So those are the 2 kind of texts that I found to kind of.
So it allows you basically to have, without splitting your property, to have another living unit on your
Right,
property.
so-
Like if someone wanted to build
rezone.
something there for their
Yeah,
child to be their caretaker, or even their
Or
caretaker.
if you wanted to rent it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of up to you how, like you said, how far you want to go. So it would be, kind of the points I made were, is it like having 2 homes? Do you want it to be in a separate structure that's not attached on the 2nd floor? Can it be all of one separate building? Can you have 2 dwellings? Those are all.
Well, some of them talked about an addition, it had to have its own entrance and exit,
Right.
but it had to be attached to the main dwelling, and, that kind of thing.
Right, or if you have a garage or a pole barn, I think one of them talked about that it had to be on the 2nd floor.
Converting it.
You had to go upstairs.
I didn't understand that. What would be the point behind that, do you
I
know?
just think that's more construction, well, so that you still have a garage, maybe?
Oh, okay,
Cause it's,
yeah.
Oh, and now those are those township areas or city areas?
those are cities,
Because keep in mind, we live all in the country.
In the country, right, okay.
so.
The city would regulate it differently.
Well, those are just kind of things to, as you're thinking about it,
And
could
some,
an accessory dwelling unit be this cabin? Could it be this shed? Will there be a certain size? If you're gonna allow someone to live in an apartment that's 500 square feet, why can't they live in a dwelling that's 500 square feet? And you're kind of.
so you need to think about all those things. Another thing to think about is you don't want the lakes to be like everyone, oh, well, I'm gonna put a 2nd unit there and rent it out, and this is gonna be my, the Airbnb thing, because the lakes already have enough problem with septic and all that, that's what I think of when I think of overcrowding around the lakes. I think of the groundwater.
A lot of times, they just put these in without any sort of approval. I'm sure there's tons of apartments that people just put out in their pole barn. Are they up to the septic and well? Did they get a permit?
Yeah.
So, maybe it might cause more problems than not, but I am totally not opposed to having 2 dwellings on one property if you have enough property.
So would you suggest maybe having like a minimum amount of property, and then,
I think you would.
yeah, that way that could kind of preclude some of the issues with the lakes, because
But then you're getting away from your idea of caretaker.
Oh, that's true, because you have to have a certain,
Just because you need a caretaker doesn't mean you have to have 5 acres.
Well, you would have to,
You gotta draw the
you
line.
still have to meet, well, you do, but you still have to meet, like, setbacks and all that stuff too.
Township,
And then,
to have a guest house there, you have to have 1.5 times the minimum width and the minimum lot area to have a guest house. And that's not too terrible.
Where did they set South Haven?
That's South Haven. So if they're
minimum width and depth?
area.
Oh, okay, minimum.
So in the ag district, as an example, you require 1 acre with 150 feet of road frontage. So if you wanted to have an accessory dwelling unit, then you would need 1.5 times that.
Do we currently allow duplexes to be built
You
here?
allow duplexes only in one of your districts. Our old district, maybe, R2.
Why is that? You would think out in the country you'd have plenty of room. That would be a good place to have duplexes.
R2. Yeah, I
Because
don't know why duplex, no one likes my zoning ideas. I mean, I've been doing this for so long.
and where is R2? The residential resorts district?
So the
That's the only place you're allowed to have a duplex?
Is a resort?
And that's the worst place to have a duplex because
Where,
of the groundwater and all that.
where's that located in the township?
So the yellow, so around
Really?
Well, that doesn't make sense. That's not where you want it. So we also need to
the
look.
township could have their own ordinance, it would be so perfect.
So we probably need to look at that too.
Yeah,
Go
it's a
through
big
and
thing to
duplex
think
things.
of, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's,
currently you can't build an apartment over a garage?
Correct, because you can only have one dwelling per parcel.
but there are so in town, Grand Junction used to be a city that was different because there's some apartments
And
there.
your zoning ordinance.
And I'm not against
no.
it.
Well, so the bottom is commercial and the top is residential.
Oh.
You still only have one dwelling.
But they're renting them both, it looks both residential to me.
In Grand Junction?
Yeah.
City, the overlay may allow something more.
Okay. But yeah, I didn't realize you can't build a duplex here, that's it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so make yourself a note when we go through the district, that'll be something that you might want to.
The RO, right?
So, this doesn't really fit in anywhere. Instead of putting so much thought into making changes, we really just need to enforce what we've got. And then look at making changes. So instead of
We've been saying that, but-
drive around and yell at people.
Gee, that sounds like fun.
Out in the country.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Beware of dog fights. I don't know for sure, I don't, everything, but some of the things I've seen is historically, and it's different now, it's getting better, but historically, you've not had a board that wanted to enforce a lot of things. Because it takes money, it takes time, it takes persistence, it takes getting people mad at you.
It takes effort.
And be mad at me, I don't care, I'm not here.
I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make the place look nice.
Well, I like friends, but,
Clean up.
I could live,
Are you
without them.
are you talking about the planning commission or the board?
The board, I'm talking
Okay.
about the board, because the planning commission can't
We
enforce
can't enforce it,
anything.
yeah. Right,
It's only the Board of Columbia Township that can enforce.
right.
And right now, our deputy is the person who enforces the ordinances, and, under the direction of our supervisor, and then he's getting help from, trustee Russ, who is a retired deputy. Because our deputy is newer, younger, newer, so, it takes a little getting to know, I think. So I have hope.
We can make all the changes we want, but it's not gonna matter.
Well, you can have people pull permits, but if they don't pull permits,
And they're just
they have to
doing it
get,
anyway.
they have to be caught, so.
We are making the ordinance better, so if you were to read it every day and have to administer it, there are some things that make absolutely no sense.
I guess that's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
is our job here is to make it make sense, and to
Correct.
make
So
it
we're not-
not contradict itself
We're not
and run in
adding
circles.
additional things to
Regulations.
enforce, we're making
Okay.
it better.
Easier
Yeah.
to follow so that it is enforceable.
More straightforward.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So we're not adding additional
Okay, I like that.
restrictions, we're adding more. Duplexes,
Yeah.
dwelling units,
Okay.
pole barns on vacant lots,
Follow
Maybe
square
we haven't
foot.
got that far yet.
And so some of those things, and I don't completely agree with all of the changes we're making, but that's part of what we do.
Yeah.
We need to remember that we're doing our ordinances towards the people that actually follow them, towards the people in the community that, that they go by the rules, they go by the law. So we can't make our ordinances, and it's hard to get away from that because of the way it's been here. We can't make our ordinances just for the people who won't follow them. They also have to be
right.
for the people who will follow them, so that we can build our community.
I think if you make them straightforward and not, I'm not saying people, you have to have some standards for your township, you need standards, but if you make them straightforward and not, like obstructive or
Too
restrictive, you will get more people into your community who, personally, I'm not gonna move into a community on purpose that says, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that, no, you can't, If I purchase a piece of property and I can't do this, I can't do that.
I've had people who have almost bought property and then called me and said, oh, I'm just buying this property, can I do this? And I just say, no, the township doesn't allow that.
Right.
And you can just hear all the like,
Well, it needs to make sense why we don't allow it. I think it needs to make sense.
Yeah, and then
in 2022, because this will be revised some point down the road, and maybe some of this stuff made sense in 19 whatever, but in 2022 it needs to make sense.
and I think your ordinance is it's not very restrictive. You have some real minimum setback requirements that nobody else has.
Yeah, I think
You still allow single wide, so your ordinance isn't super restrictive.
Maybe some of that's the problem.
It's just unfortunately,
maybe
you're in
some
an
of the
area
what we
where
don't
people are just bringing their campers and setting them. I don't know
And
why.
nobody says anything about it.
It's because they've been getting away with it, that's why. And, I'm telling you that I know the word is out there because there's someone near me, that has gone by the ordinances, and they see other people not going by the ordinances, and they want to do something that's not allowed in our township. Them being my neighbor, I'm grateful that it's not, because I moved there to have the peace and quiet that I have.
Right.
I don't want a business next door to me. I live out in the country. That's not what I signed up for. But they said, well, what if I just do it? Who's going to stop me? So they asked the neighbors.
Yep.
And the neighbors said, no, I don't want you to do that. Because they also live in the country because they don't want...
Just build a pole barn. Remember that gentleman that came to our meeting, or maybe he was on, when we were doing them virtually, and he was really excited about, he wants to build a pole barn, and you can't have a pole barn on a vacant property. I don't know if you remember, he was really excited. Well, anyway, he still calls me. And the ordinance has been changed, and I'm really surprised that he hasn't actually built it. Just built it, and
He's trying to be appropriate and do the right
he's
thing.
kind of waiting, so I'm like, I'm surprised you haven't built it. So.
Well, really, so if he builds it, then what, he has to get a building permit?
Well,
Has
he
to be
would
a
have
fine,
to tear
doesn't
it
it?
down because it's not allowed.
Well, do
that's
you think
a lie.
somebody would make him tear it down?
So, he can have it with a special use, because your ordinance does allow, so he lives across the street, so.
Oh, he called in one night, he was angry.
That guy, yeah, you remember?
Yeah, he was angry
So
because
he
we haven't
lives
made a
over here,
decision.
there's the main street, and then he bought the property across the street to build a pole barn.
Mhm.
Well, he would need to get a special use to build it over there because there's not a dwelling. That's $650. I'm not paying $650. Like,
Well,
But
you
he's
can
really
pay-
mad now.
If you can pay $20,000 for a barn, $650.
Yeah.
I know, it's nothing, so I'm like, oh,
Actually, our fees for our township have been way lower than surrounding areas, and I think the township is going to be raising, or going to look at.
so I'm surprised that particular gentleman didn't just build it without asking, so, but yeah, if you, like this guy on County Road 388, he doesn't meet the setback. That's why I didn't approve his permit, because he didn't meet the setback, and he built it anyway.
So now what?
Exactly, now what?
Somebody knocking on
County
his
needs to
door?
get a variance, so,
Somebody knocking on his door?
not yet.
So if we give him a variance, then the word will get out, just do whatever you want,
And then
and then they'll give you a variance.
Yeah, how's that saying go?
Ask for forgiveness,
yeah.
not permission.
yeah.
Are there fines associated with having to get a variance, or is it with whatever?
There should be. The only thing I see is the ad and the reminder that says $100 investigation fee if you've been found to build without a permit. But, yeah, there should be fines, because
Right,
I would
there
think
should be
so.
something to...
if they do
basically
not do
enforcement.
what they're
Yeah.
supposed to do, the township should take them to court, and the
Yeah.
township should
Yeah,
require them to demolish the structure because it doesn't meet the requirements, but they probably aren't gonna do that.
and that's what Catherine, our attorney, had advised before, and this happened in a neighboring township, and they went to court, and because they built over onto someone else's property.
Right.
And that happened right by me also.
Yeah.
Someone built their pole barn 8 foot on the neighbor's property. So when that property changed hands, or when they wanted to sell it, he's like, well, that's my 8 foot there. So they came up with a compromise between them. They traded land legally, because he wanted land,
Rather than tear it down.
to be able to prohibit hunters on both sides of the easement there.
So, yes, the township would need to take them to court and make them tear it down.
And that was actually within our township borders.
So that's a whole nother, but yeah, that's what the enforcement needs to do. When people do things they're not supposed to, you need to stay on them until they do it, and because there's so much.
Otherwise, all of this means nothing.
Correct. Kind of, yeah, so, but.
And inspection and that kind of stuff. So the pole barn, I don't understand how a pole barn gets built on someone else's property. Do you have to show, how do you know if they're on their own property or not?
So when I do the zoning, they give me a site plan. And I go to the county records because there's an aerial, so I have an idea that the site plan that they've shown me in their property is relatively the same. And most of the time, I haven't had any, except for this one, that just didn't make sense, because they were telling me they had 52 feet, but they're right next to the road, so, but other than that, that's kind of what I do. So I don't require a survey of the property. I kind of measure the aerial and measure what they gave me, and then I approve the site plan with what the required setbacks are supposed to be, because they tell you where it's supposed to be. Yep, it's 50 feet, 20, 10, or whatever. And then I give that to the building inspector, and I don't know what he then does after that. So if he doesn't take the approved site plan with him when he goes out to do a footing or a rough-in or something, then no one is really checking where it was placed after it was built.
Interesting.
Yep.
So, like, in hours.
All right, so we're gonna discuss the accessory dwelling next month when we get to that section, or when, and that's in the,
Yeah, so this
That's
would
in
be
Article 7.
in,
RO?
the supplemental.
Oh, in the supplemental, okay.
So you could, kind of depend on how you go. It is an accessory building, so you could put it in the accessory building section if you'd like to. But then it depends on how much we expand it, if we're gonna allow,
Okay.
it to be an actual dwelling, if it has to be in. So I kind of we'll have to come up with a definition. So this will take some time to come up with what you would like to see. And first,
I just wanted to throw it out there to have us start thinking about it,
Yeah,
to see where it goes.
well, yeah, it's a thing that you need to consider. We need to consider it, so.
and some people have a lot of property, and why can't they have 2 houses?
Well, a mother-in-law house, mother-in-law
Can they
unit.
share a driveway? I don't
Yeah.
know.
So one time we talked about land divisions.
Mm-hmm.
Did we finalize anything?
On land division?
Yeah.
Like,
Like, they can be no smaller than 5 acres or smaller than 10 acres?
So the only one that we decided on was in the ag district, where we have the B, where, the initial one was the 10 acres and the 200 feet. And there was the B, we actually removed the 1 acre and the 150.
Okay.
Because I think the intent of the B was if you had an existing parcel that was that size, then you had a smaller setback. But the way the current ordinance is written, you could make a new parcel today of 1 acre, so it's kind of weird. But I think that's the only size of a property that we discussed.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it got finalized or if we were just talking about it.
I believe that was kind of the pencil in to remove the, so the B would actually be more of an existing, so if you have an existing parcel, then it would be on the date that this ordinance is adopted. Then if you have 1 acre, then this is your setback. But you can't create another parcel today with 1 acre, you have to have 10.
If it had 10, so it was 10 was the minimum.
To be agricultural.
You have to have 10 and you can cut 1 out of that?
Well, we're gonna remove that. That's kind of what we penciled in, is to remove the 1 acre part.
So it's now 10 acres, so you can't divide smaller than 10.
Correct, once we get, yeah, that's.
To be agricultural, okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, should we move on? It's after 9?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, reports. Does the zoning administrator have any reports?
I sent my report. I don't know if anybody got it or not.
Let's see. That I did not see, but it is linked on here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it in an email, but it is linked in here.
I'm still not used to this thing.
Just touch it.
I don't have to
Tap it
touch,
twice.
because, yeah, okay.
So this one address is on here, 16th Avenue is on here twice, is that like a piece of property that's for sale? You said that one
Oh my
time.
gosh, yes, I get like 4 or 5 calls on that a day.
Okay. Must be a nice looking piece of
Yeah,
property.
so on the next report, you'll see that again.
Okay.
How big of a property?
So there's a creek in the back, and most of the whole property is a wetland, so.
Oh, I know where that is.
Be able to build on it.
Nice.
anyway, so.
My boss looked at that.
Oh, there is,
Oh, yeah, there it is again.
there's one, change garage to house.
Yes,
Is that something that's gonna work?
yes.
Oh, is it?
Well, for zoning purposes, I don't know about the building code, because I'm not the building inspector, but it was large enough to meet the minimum size, and I had a floor plan that met all the other requirements, the windows, and it's not too high, and it meets the setbacks, so.
What about the foundation?
Oh, it's on the slab.
That's on the building inspector?
Yes,
Because I know my garage slab wouldn't support a house.
yes, so that would be up to him, correct.
Resort cabin question, that kind of goes along with what we were talking about.
Yes,
doesn't it?
lots of research, yes, they want a cabin that 16th Avenue, they want to hunt on it. I've had a few who want to use it for hunting, and they want to put a cabin.
Is that the one that has where they started building a house and brought in all the,
I don't think so, I don't think there's anything on the
Long
16th
cabin,
Avenue
okay.
piece.
so there is a spot on here.
What's the one on the old schoolhouse?
So,
Retail only?
so the people that bought it to live in it moved away, so now it's for sale again. And someone wanted to turn it into retail, however, in your overlay, you only allow 5,000 square feet. And they would like it to be 10,000 square feet, so they would need to apply for variance if they wanted the 10,000 square feet.
Were they mentioning what kind of business they might
No, of
have?
course not.
Is it a
Where is that?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Right there, it's right here.
Oh, it's this one, right in
Yeah.
front. Oh, okay, I'm thinking like schoolhouse, like Little House on the Prairie.
Oh,
Schoolhouse.
no. The actual school.
The
building that
actual
was a
school.
Is it that big?
And these,
It doesn't seem
so,
like it's that big.
I'm not sure how big it is.
It has two
Pretty big.
storage.
There's the pickle liquor guy bought it,
Oh.
and he wants to turn it into a laundromat.
I heard laundromat in the gym, and I thought you said liquor store.
That's what I heard.
And I heard after the laundromat, this retail person, so I don't know.
So that's somebody different?
That's somebody different, yeah.
So the person,
Sold again?
I don't know. People, if things are for sale, people just call and maybe,
Yeah.
it already sold.
Right, they don't want it, yep, okay.
And, so you get a lot of calls from realtors?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then short-term rental questions, what kind of questions are we getting on that?
Does Columbia Township regulate short-term rentals?
Mm,
And the answer is no.
No,
Not yet.
Yeah.
My answer is you can only rent a single-family home. You can't rent a camper or build a yurt.
or a room.
Or a
When I
room.
rent out my basement.
Yurts are expensive anyway.
You could make.
I always wanted to have one.
Really?
Yeah, if it had a bathroom, I would.
Just for a little place in the woods to go.
Just to go and be like, go away.
On my own property.
Okay, do we need to make a motion to approve that or what, anything?
No.
Because I haven't done that before, there were no reports the last time. Okay, zoning board admin. Is it a
ZBA representative,
ZBA
yeah.
representative.
That's me.
That's you?
I have
Do you
no-
have a report?
I have no report.
Okay. Township board member report. Thank you,
I just
Tasha,
have
for
a
all
quick
that.
verbal report,
Okay.
and we, had to reschedule our interviews. And we've rescheduled for the 19th, I believe, at 10 a.m., and all we got this is for the zoning administrator position. And we have, 3 applicants, 2 that are agencies, they're businesses, kind of like Tasha's, sort of, and 1, person. So that will be happening, and it is an open meeting, so if anyone is curious
Okay.
or wants to hear it, see
When's that
it,
happening?
whatever.
10 a.m.
10 I think it's 10 a.m., it might be 8 a.m., don't quote me right now.
8 a.m.
We just rescheduled it.
For what day again?
The 19th.
19th.
The 19th. It's a Saturday morning.
Oh, at 8 a.m.?
It might not be 8, it might be 10, we'll
Okay.
see.
Let's hope 10.
We come in a jamming with coffee.
With
Well,
coffee,
the last
right?
one was 8 a.m.
Wow.
But we had to
Who's bringing
reschedule.
donuts? So, okay, thank you.
That's it.
Any public comments?
Oh, we have someone from the public.
Hi.
I was just seeing what was going on, I drove by and I was seeing
The
what.
lights were on.
Yeah.
The lights were on, we're home.
You missed the whole meeting, we're at the end.
Well, this is the best part of the meeting.
Yeah, when we get all silly.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, I would love to make that motion.
Thanks, everyone.
I'll support.
Okay, so it was moved by Bevshire and seconded by Anita Manley to adjourn at 9:14 p.m. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, meeting's adjourned.
Yay,
Thank
and
you.
turn in the iPads to Kara.
Yeah,
With my little smudgy fingerprints all over.
I know, I'm just gonna clean mine off too.
So gross.
Mine looks all, yeah, it's, what a mess.
Peanut butter.
It's like you almost wanna wash your hands before you touch it.
I know, you got it right. I see Dave over here, I wasn't sure if you were the cold.
Yeah, 'cause you're working.
Yeah.
But how do you know whose is what?
they have.
Oh, she knows.
They have,
Yeah, they're all assigned.
they're all barcoded and.
Wouldn't it be easier if it just had a little something on the back
Check out
that
those,
said,
check out the survey results if you got them.
Okay, is it on iPhone?